Hello everyone. This past year was the most difficult year with regards to statistics that anyone has ever applied to medical school, with far less than half of the people applying getting in. Even those with really good GPAs, really good MCATs, found themselves getting denied from all medical schools. So I wanted to do a little video of the 6 reasons that I have found that people most often get denied from medical schools that are very easy to avoid. So, reason number 1 that I see people not getting into medical schools is because they apply to far too many schools and they end up doing a subpar job on any one application. You want to really narrow down the schools that you want to actually go to. So if you don't have a specific reason that you're actually wanting to attend a school, then you shouldn't really be applying there. You should do your research beforehand, and you can watch a video that I'll link here, which actually displays how you can evaluate a school as to whether or not you like it. Narrowing down schools according to your GPA and your MCAT is one thing, but just applying to them because of that is a bad idea. I had a friend, and when she was applying, she ended up applying to as many schools as she could. This was an extremely costly process, obviously, as each school with AMCAS costs about $30, I believe. And then in addition to that, it can cost anywhere from $70 to $200 to send in a secondary application. With too many of those to do, it led to a very emotionally stressful process for her, and she ended up not getting into any medical schools. Ended up going to a DO school, and though she's doing well now, if she had simply reduced the amount of schools that she had applied to, I think she would have had a higher chance of getting in. The next thing that we're going to go into, reason number 2, is applying to too few schools. Statistically speaking, you're going to want to make sure you're safe. So I wouldn't go too far below around 30 schools, or else you're starting to risk whether or not you're going to have enough schools who are reviewing your applications. One thing you could do is you could try and calculate the percent chance that you're going to get into any one school based off of your specific statistics, and then you can add that percentage up with all of the other ones. This typical statistical method of analysis is oftentimes done to calculate exactly how likely any one event is to happen in conjunction with the others. So if you calculate that you have about a 1% likelihood to get into any 30 schools, you have a 30% likelihood to get into any school. The next thing, number 3 on our list, that I have personally seen people failing in the medical school application process is not pre-writing their secondaries. I've run into multiple people making this mistake, and I want to tell you, do not make it during your medical school application cycle. Just by pre-writing your secondaries, you're taking a massive load off of your plate. The way you do this is you go to any of these banks of essays that have been previously published by schools, and you write the essays that they have continuously used over and over again in the past. I believe medical schools understand that they are asking too much of students to actually complete the process during the rolling admissions cycle of completing upwards of 30 to 40 different secondary essays. And again, that's where I would aim for the amount of schools that you want to apply to. So get your secondary essays done beforehand. I will link in the description somewhere that you can actually find how to write a pre-secondary essay. That is, you'll be able to see the secondary essays that you need to write beforehand. So take a look at those. Reason number 4 that we're going to be coming along with is just not doing a good enough job of analyzing your GPA and your MCAT relative to the competition. Sending it over the edge is a very sad reason most medical students do not get in. This is a very costly process, emotionally, for yourself, for your family, and taxing on your wallet, financially stressful. So before you go into the application cycle, should you already have your MCAT and should you already have your GPA nailed down, you should really take a look at the statistics that are published by AMCAS and do statistical analysis on yourself relative to them. There are different calculators online in which you can actually see the percentage chance that you're going to get into a medical school. This will take into account several different things, including your MCAT, GPA, school from which you attended, your ethnicity, and your gender. By calculating different things such as these, you can actually get an idea as to whether or not you suffer or stand a chance, that is, of getting into medical school to begin with. And without these metrics in mind, I think that you can unnecessarily send yourself over the edge. So if you really do not stand a statistical chance of getting in, you should wait. Reason number 5 that most medical students do not get in is they simply start the process late. I'm going to link in the description to your medical school application process timeline that you should refer to while you're going through the process. Should you deviate from this and should you be applying late, I would recommend that you just wait a year. Now, one of my mentors told me this during my application cycle, and I swear it was the best advice I received. Every other person that I talked to said, send it, Brian, you got what it takes, you got the experience, you're gonna do great. And I said to this mentor of mine, I was telling him about my application process, and he said, Brian, you need to wait a year. He said, you have some polishing that you could do. I see potential in you, but should you go ahead with this process, I think you will not get into the schools that you want to, and you may not get into any schools at all. And I'll tell you this right now, it's the best thing anybody has ever told me during that process. Wait a year. You have no idea how much you stand to gain. Moreover, most medical school applicants are in fact older. That's right. They're around 24 to 25 when getting in. Those are the people who are actually able to gain more experience. They're able to use those experiences from their gap year to get into medical school. Now, there are always those people who are able to get in through sheer power of will and overperformance. Well, I guess just, I don't want to call it overperformance, more like they're just really, really hardworking and excellent, who straight out of college are going through the application process and they have everything they need to get in. If you happen to be one of those people, good luck to you. But I will say, you can gain a variety of life experiences by taking a gap year. Personally, I've visited several countries already and gone throughout the United States. I did this without any medical school debt to worry about, any practice to worry about, any spouse to worry about, any children to worry about. You maybe have been going through middle school, high school, and in college without a break. And you're coming up on a period of time when you're going to be young, got any commitments that you're going to have to worry about when traveling. I would take a second and consider, maybe you want to go traveling. Maybe you want to do medical and volunteering abroad. Maybe you just want to explore some facet of a career that you've never done. Maybe you want to see something about research experience. But I will say, just don't start that application late. Reason number 6. The reason why people oftentimes don't get into medical school is because they do not have the proper extracurricular activities. Go on MSAR and research the different activities that medical students oftentimes have. Now, one can also say this is simply a correlation with medical school students. Personally, I would disagree. I think medical schools are saying when they accept about 95% to 99% of their students who have research experience, they're trying to send a message, right? The message that they're sending is it's important to do research. And same thing with volunteer work or paid work in the clinical setting. I promise, get the MSAR subscription. It's going to completely change the way you're looking at your medical school application for the better. If you do not get that, you're making a massive mistake with your application, and you're not going to be seeing the extracurricular activities that most medical schools are going to want to see when you are applying. So take time. Additionally, I would recommend you get some volunteer experience, some research experience, that you get some leadership experience, that you get some physician shadowing experience. These things are going to push you far ahead. Okay guys, that's wrapping up 6 different things that I have learned through my experience and through the studies of different statistical analyses are causing many, if not most students to not get into medical school. Address these 6 things before applying, or I promise you're going to suffer a massive chance of not getting in. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and let me know if this changed anything with regards to your application cycle and your plan with regards to this application cycle. Thanks, and have a great day.